Yes, guys, I sold my Nikon. Alright, guys, so it's your boy Kerwan Celestine here from Celestine Photography, and today I'll talk about selling my Nikon and what I'm going to next for my photography. So, last week, Thursday, I decided to sell my Nikon and go for Sony. Now, before we get into hating or clicking that unlike button or saying he left Nikon or he's another Sony fanboy, nah. Brand is not that of importance to me. It's what gives me what I'm looking for. So I'm not I enjoyed my Nikon for the time I used it. I've been using Nikon since 2012, so it has done justice by me for since then. Up till this day, I would still use Nikon. So there's no reason to say that I'm just jumping on the Sony bandwagon or I'm leaving Nikon. And no, as technology changes, we should evolve as well. We should transition into the technology. And although I love my Nikon and what they do, the quality of work and pictures that they produce for me, Sony is right now ahead of the game as in innovation. And when it comes to my work, I would love a system that makes it easier for me. And right now Sony is doing that. Sony is listening to their consumers. They are listening to the people and they are giving them exactly what they want. And come on, who can hate with that? If Nikon did that, a lot of people would stay with Nikon, but I guess they're waiting. As I heard, there's something new coming. I just couldn't wait. So Sony has made it very easy for me. They have made it. They've made their camera with a lot more focus points. They have made their camera with face detection. They have made their camera with eye autofocus. Come on, this makes my life a lot easier where I don't have to focus and recompose. And so for me, with the Sony, I can take a shot, worry only about my composition and knowing that this camera is going to nail the eye autofocus. Whereas with my Nikon, I had to move my focal point, and I shot with the D750. And the D750, most of the focal points was in the center frame of the camera. So for me, if I had to take a shot, I would have to move the point to either the furthest end, and which won't be as far as I want it to go. So I would have to hold up my camera, put the focus down on the eye, and then recompose to where I want it. Where with my Sony right now, I can just do whatever I want, compose whatever I want, and I know that it's going to catch the eye. Another reason was the EVF. Now, with the Sony, the EVF is nice. I find, this is only my opinion, guys, I'm not saying it is that, but for me, I believe that when Sony first came out with these cameras, it was more focused for natural light shooters, or more a consumer buyer, as in for people who just want a camera with point and click but want to have interchangeable lens, and so they have a wider variety that they can go out and shoot their natural images and stuff. But it did so good on the photographer market that they decided to go into it. Reason for saying this is because they yet have the EVF yet have to work with the trigger on top. You have to turn off your trigger. If you're using off-camera flash, you have to turn off your trigger and then get your setting with the EVF and then turn back on your trigger. Once your trigger is on, the EVF goes off. So that's my reason for saying it. Could be wrong, it's just speculations as to that. But I mean, it's no biggie because you can always turn it on and off and get your exposure, or you can use your histogram. But that's the next reason as well for me switching over, because the EVF is awesome. If you're shooting in natural light and you want to see exactly what the image is going to look like, you can actually take the picture, and whatever settings you enter, it actually shows. When I shot with Nikon, you would have to take a picture, watch it in the screen. It may sound lazy, guys, but I mean, come on, it's something that makes you work easier. There's no chimping. You don't have to watch, because it looks kind of unprofessional. Well, not unprofessional. It's not a good look for you to be working with a client and telling them, okay, you're going to take a picture. You take a picture, and then you watch the camera. And you're like, okay, I need to go a little brighter, a little darker. And then you tell them, okay, let's go again. You take a next picture, and you're watching again. And like, okay, this looks a little better. There may be a stop light more or stop light less, you know. But with the Sony, you actually see what you're getting. So you can literally, and it also has the auto review in the LCD or in the viewfinder. So you can literally take a picture and actually see what it looks like already. So you don't have to watch in the camera and see what's wrong, because you're actually seeing what it looks like. And that's an awesome feature. I was waiting for Nikon. I was waiting for Nikon and Nikon to actually join the mirrorless family. I held out again the A7R II because number one, I didn't like the battery life on the A7R II. It would drain out before photo shooting. That didn't work for me. It didn't have the dual SD cards, so that was a no-go for me as well. And I shot with it once last year, I believe, and for me it was not nailing the focus as fast as I would like it to, so I didn't jump ship to the Sony A7R II because I was not fully impressed with that one as yet, so I stayed with my Nikon D750. But then the A7R III came out, and that was the game changer for me. When I saw that they had the dual SD cards and the bigger battery life, that was it for me. Decided, hey, I can't keep waiting on Nikon to innovate, you know. And the thing with why I decided to go to as well is because Sony has started this journey on the mirrorless, and they have made their mistakes. They have learned from their mistakes, and right now they are correcting all those mistakes, and their cameras are getting better and better with every line that comes out. Nikon, they haven't ventured forth into it as deep as Sony. So when they do drop their first mirrorless, who knows what issues that might have, you know? And then you go and you jump on that camera, you're like, yeah, it's Nikon. Nikon knows what they're doing, and you jump on it and you say, I'm gonna get this one. Come to find out they have issues with that one. Now you have to wait until they catch up to where Sony is already ahead in the game. You know, so these are my reasons for switching. But I must admit, the Sony, they are really doing good. They are taking the market by storm. The Sony has more focus points than the Nikons, further reach than the Nikons. The autofocus system on them is supreme and superior. So I know I have a lot of other photographers who, I had one photographer friend who was literally telling me, do not sell your Nikon, don't sell your Nikon, you know, keep your Nikon, you're gonna regret it. And I mean, so far I have not regretted. The Sony for me does the job. It's just a camera, it's just a tool. So for me, once you as a photographer know what you're doing, you can take any camera and make great images. There's no, oh, you need a Nikon if you want to get this, or you need a Canon if you want to get this, or you need a Sony if you want to get this. Any camera can get the job done, guys. Any camera. It's what you have up here. So what got me to sell my Nikon was the announcement of the A7 III. I already own the A6500, which is what I'm filming this on, and I have the A7R III. But I still have my Nikon D750 because my A7R III is 42 megapixels, and I do a lot of portraits I do a lot of weddings and so on. So for me, 42 megapixels is quite the huge file size that I don't need to be taking portraits and weddings and stuff with. So I kept my D750 so that I can use the 24 megapixels of the D750 to do these photo shoots with my portraits and wedding and stuff. But now that the A7 III has been announced, which is 24 megapixels, and it's basically everything like the D750 and more. So that was the it hurts, but I had to say Nikon, bye bye. That was the line. That was the line there for me. Nikon haven't announced anything yet. The D850, don't get me wrong, the D850 is a beast of a camera, but at the end of the day, it's also a beastly size. And though you guys may say, oh, mirrorless is small, but when you add the lens, it's big. Come on, guys. For me, this is still, even if I add 70 to 200 on this, the body for me is still smaller than the Nikon D750. I wish I had it to compare with you guys, but if I add the 70 to 200 on this, I would still feel good with this because the body is a lot lighter. Whereas the D750 is going to be heavy, and then you still have the heavy 70 to 200 lens on it. Anyway, and for me it was never really much. Well, the body was part of it too because it's smaller and lightweight, and the DSLRs are a bit heavy. So this was one of the other reasons that I decided to switch as well. But for me, I just love that this is making my work a lot easier. So I mean, body wise, this is smaller. The only thing with me is my hands are big, so I can't use this without the grip. I see a lot of photographers using it without the grip. It doesn't work for me. I have to get the grip for it so that I can hold. See where my fingers are reaching? You know, and some people buy there's a little piece that you put to the bottom just for the pinky finger, but you have to take it out every time you want to put your battery. So that, I don't like that feature. So the grip works perfectly. When the A7 III was announced, I was like, yes, it's about time. It's about that time. I do hope that Nikon decides to jump on this as soon as possible, because I mean, your fans are your diehards are leaving. Your diehards are jumping to Sony. Sony is listening to their customers, and they are providing what the customer needs and wants. So Nikon, if you're listening, jump on it quick. Jump on it quick. So guys, let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think of the Sony and the A7 III, and yeah, just let me know your thoughts about this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Also, if you would like to see any comparison, I'm going to be doing a comparison between the A7R III and the D850. I'm just waiting for more of the D850 to reach here, as we live in the Caribbean. So yeah, it comes and sells out really quickly. So I'm waiting for it to reach so that I can make a comparison with this A7R III and the D850. And when I get my A7 III, I'll also be making a comparison with the D750. Alright, so guys, make sure you subscribe if you want to see more future videos on this. Alright, and until the next time, get your cameras out, get creative. See you in the next video.